Hey, what's up guys? This video is for section 8.4, which is special products with polynomials. And I'm going to show you guys two special products. And the first one you guys see, the name of it is the square of a binomial. The second one is going to be a little bit different, but I'll tell you guys the name later on. But let's look at this special product when you guys have the square of a binomial. So the idea is when you guys have a binomial, for example, this one here, a plus b, and you guys are squaring, so you guys have the exponent of 2. You physically see the exponent of 2. What that means is you are going to write down the polynomial or the binomial 2 times. So this parentheses, you copy down 2 times because that's what the exponent is. Exponent of 2 is you multiply the base by itself 2 times. So you are going to multiply a plus b times a plus b. When you guys do the distributive property, you do all the steps here, and you multiply a times a times b times a, and b times b. Well, and you combine like terms, you will get a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So your answer has to be a trinomial in this sense right here. If you guys have a binomial with a minus b, same idea, and you have a squared, you're going to copy down the binomial 2 times. So we have a minus b times a minus b. You multiply that binomial by itself 2 times. And when you guys do the distributive property, you guys multiply a times a, that's a squared, a times negative b, and then you multiply negative b times a. You combine like terms, you're going to get negative 2ab, and negative b times negative b is positive b squared. One thing that you guys have to be careful is one of the very common mistakes where students think that you can distribute the exponent inside of the parentheses, and that's going to be your answer. And that's wrong, because you cannot do this when you guys have a binomial inside of the parentheses. If you have a one term monomial, yeah, it's okay to distribute the exponent or multiply the exponents inside times the exponent outside. But let me show you guys. This is the wrong way to get the answer. If you think you're just going to have a with the squared right here, and then you guys have a plus b with the square right here, and you say this is the answer, well, when you guys to compare it, you guys have something different than what the answer is. This is the answer when you square the binomial. So be careful when you guys do that. Don't just distribute, don't just multiply the exponents. You guys actually have to write down the parentheses, the binomial 2 times, and then you multiply. So let's try a few examples here. And I do have 2 binomials. Notice I want to find the product, so I want to multiply. And I do have the first one, x plus 2 squared. So the first thing is you are going to write the parentheses 2 times. So I'm going to copy down x plus 2 times x plus 2. That is 2 times because we have a square, which means you multiply by itself 2 times. Now you guys use the distributive property. You multiply the x times the x. That's going to be x squared. The x times the 2. That's going to be plus 2x. And then you multiply the 2 right here times the x. That's a positive 2x. And the 2 times a positive 2. That's a positive 4. You guys combine the middle terms, 2x and 2x. Those are like terms because they have the same variable and the variables have the same exponent. So we have an x squared plus 4x plus 4. So that is my answer. You guys write down the parentheses 2 times and you use the distributive property. Now, if you guys have a minus, like this one here, same idea. You guys are going to copy down the binomial 2 times, x minus 5 times x minus 5 here. You guys are going to multiply x times the x. So that's going to be x squared. And then you multiply x times negative 5. That's negative 5x. Always check your signs. Always double check your signs. Always triple check your signs. Make sure you guys get the right sign. Then you guys multiply the negative 5 times the x. That's negative 5x. And the negative 5 times negative 5. Negative times a negative. It's a positive 25. You guys combine like terms in the middle. So we get x squared minus 10x. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. You guys combine like terms. Plus 25. So my answer is the trinomial. So let's try a few more here. You guys want to find the product when you have a binomial squared. So sometimes you might have one variable, sometimes you might have two different variables. But the idea is the same. You guys are going to copy down the parentheses, the binomial 2 times, and then you guys multiply. So for this one here, we have 2x plus 3 with the square. So we want to square this binomial. So you guys copy this down 2 times 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. And you guys are going to multiply using distributive property. 2x times 2x, that is 4x squared. 2x times 3, that's going to be positive 6x. You multiply the numbers and keep the variable. Then you take the 3 times the 2x, and that's a positive 6x. And 3 times 3, that's a positive 9. You guys combine like terms in the middle. So we have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9. So we got the trinomial. Now let's try when you guys have two different variables inside of the parentheses. So the binomial, you might have 4x minus 2y with the square. Notice we have a square, so we can write down the parentheses 2 times, and then you guys use this distributive property. So we have 4x minus 2y times 4x minus 2y. And it's very important that you also remember when there's nothing in between the parentheses, you are multiplying. So that's why we use this distributive property. We have to multiply. So I'm going to take the 4x right here times the 4x. That's going to be 16x squared. And then you take the 4x times the negative 2y. First, you multiply the coefficients, the numbers. 4 times negative 2, that's negative 8. And then you multiply x times y. Remember, you just put those letters together because they're not the same variable. And it has to be in alphabetical order. X is before the y. And now you take the negative 2y here and you multiply by 4x. So negative 2 times 4, that's negative 8. Y times x. Remember, they're not the same variable, so you just put them side by side. And in alphabetical order, x goes first. So you put xy. And then you multiply negative 2 times negative 2y times negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And the y times the y, it's y squared. Now we do have like terms. The ones in the middle, negative 8xy and negative 8xy, they have the same variables with the same exponents. So you can combine. Negative 8 minus 8, that's negative 16xy. You guys combine. You bring down the 16x squared over here, and you bring down the 4y squared over here. Remember that this x squared and this y squared are not like terms because they're different variables. So you cannot combine. And that is my answer. So let's try one more here, where you guys might have a different exponent inside of the parentheses. So remember, guys, the wrong way to do it is if you just multiply the exponents, this one outside times the inside, and then you think you're done. No, you don't do that. You guys have to copy down the binomial 2 times because you have a square. So I'm going to take the 5a cubed minus 2b, that's my binomial inside the parentheses, times 5a cubed minus 2b. So you guys do that 2 times. Now you use the distributive property. You multiply 5a cubed times 5a cubed. So 5 times 5 is 25. A cubed times a cubed is a to the 6th power. Remember, when you multiply the same basis, you add the exponents. 3 plus 3 is 6. Then you guys multiply the next one. 5a cubed times negative 2b, that's going to be negative 10. And when you multiply a cubed times b, those are not the same variables, so you just put them side by side. A cubed b, and it's in alphabetical order. Then you guys multiply the negative 2b times the 5a cubed, that's negative 10. And b times a cubed, they're not the same variables, but you put them side by side in alphabetical order. A cubed b. And last, you multiply negative 2b times negative 2b. That's going to be positive 4b squared. You actually can multiply b times b. They're the same base, same variable. So you add the exponents. Now we do have like terms. The ones in the middle, negative 10a squared, not a squared, a cubed b. And the negative 10a cubed b, they have the same variables. And the variables have the same exponents. The a, the b, and the b. So when you combine, negative 10 minus 10, that's negative 20 a cubed b. You keep the same variables and the same exponents because you're combining. You're not multiplying, you're combining. Then you bring down the 4b squared and you bring down the 25a to the 6th power. And my answer is this trinomial. Okay, now the second special product is when you guys have the product of a sum and a difference of binomials. So what does it mean? When you guys have a binomial, for example, a plus b times a binomial a minus b, notice that the variables are the same, everything is the same except the signs. One's a positive, one's a negative. When you guys use distributive property, you multiply a times a, that's a squared, a times negative b, that's negative ab, b times a, that's positive ab, you put it in alphabetical order, and you guys have a positive b times a negative b, that's a negative b squared. Well, notice what happens in the middle. When you guys combine like terms, this one and this one are the same terms because they have the same variables, but they cancel. So we don't have anything in the middle. So all you have left when you cancel those two is a squared minus b squared. So I'm going to show you guys a way for you guys to multiply and you don't have to do the whole distributive property. If the binomials are the same, almost exactly the same, but the signs are different, one's a positive, one's a negative, or you might have a negative first and then a positive, but the signs are different, all you have to do, guys, is you multiply the first term a times a, you get a squared, and then you multiply the second term b times negative b, and you guys get negative b squared. And that's it. You don't have to do the rest of the distributive property because eventually the middle terms will cancel. So let's try a few examples. Here you guys have binomials. They're almost identical, but the signs are different. So notice that we have x minus 3 times x plus 3. So everything's the same except the signs. We have a minus and a plus. And on this side right here, you guys have 7x plus 5 times 7x minus 5. Everything's the same except the signs. So when that happens, we don't have to use the whole distributive property. You just multiply the first term, x times x, that's x squared. You multiply the second term, negative 3 times positive 3, that's a negative 9, and you're done. Now remember though, guys, this works only when the binomials are almost the same, except the signs are different. One's a negative, one's a positive, they're different signs. You can do this shortcut. So my answer is x squared minus 9. Let's try this one. You guys are going to multiply 7x times 7x. That's going to be 49x squared. And then you multiply positive 5 times negative 5. And we get negative 25. And that is my answer. And this is the product of the sum and the difference of binomials. They're almost the same. I'm repeating myself so you remember when to use this shortcut. Everything is almost the same except the signs. You have a positive and you have a negative. So this one's same thing, but we have different variables. You just follow the same steps I showed you guys. So notice that the binomials are almost the same and we want to find the product, so we are multiplying. Once again, you don't have anything in between the parentheses, so you are multiplying. 2x plus 3y times 2x minus 3y, almost the same except the signs. So when that happens, you can use the shortcut. You just multiply 2x times 2x, that's going to be 4x squared, and positive 3y times negative 3y, that's negative 9y squared. You multiply 3 times negative 3, that's negative 9. Y times y is y squared. And that's my answer. Can you actually use all distributive property? You do all the steps? Yeah, you can. But eventually, you're going to get the same answer. You're going to do a little bit more work, but your answer will be 4x minus 9y squared. 4x squared minus 9y squared. That will be your answer. So let's try this one here. Almost the same, almost identical, except the signs. One's a positive, one's a negative. The signs are different, and it doesn't matter if the signs are switched. You might have a negative here and a positive over here. As long as one is positive, one's negative, you guys can use the shortcut. So I'm going to multiply 8q squared times 8q squared. 8 times 8 is 64. Q squared times q squared is q to the 4th power. You guys add the exponents because we're multiplying. So 2 plus 2 is 4. Then you guys take the positive r times the negative r. That's going to be a minus. Positive times a negative r squared. When you multiply those two terms, you get r squared. And that is my answer. So this is the sum and difference of two binomials. They're almost identical, but the signs are different. One's a positive, one's a negative. You guys can use the shortcut. Alright guys, this concludes my video for this section. If you guys like my videos, you guys can subscribe to my channel. You guys can click the like button and make sure you guys practice. And I'll see you guys later.